Alien has been unpredictable from the very beginning, and Episode 7, titled Emergence, proves that once again. Every time you think you know where Noah Hawley's FX series is headed, it throws you a curveball. Last week, we saw the horrifying introduction of the fly aliens and the tragic death of hybrid Toodles. This week, the story pivots into darker, bloodier, and even more emotional territory. Wendy, Joe, and Nibs are desperate to escape Neverland Island. Boy Cavalier is obsessed with pushing the eye alien to its next stage of evolution, and Arthur's fate finally reaches its terrifying conclusion. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. So, let's break this episode down beat by beat, from the shocking graveyard reveal to the chestburster escape, and then dive into what the ending means for the explosive finale coming up. Slightly and Smee try to save Arthur. The episode opens with Arthur, still locked in that awful face-hugger embrace. Slightly, being a child in a synthetic body, doesn't really understand the gravity of the situation. He tries to help Arthur by giving him water, which only makes things worse. The creature latches on tighter. Smee barges in and sees Arthur's limp body, immediately panicking. Slightly begs him to stay quiet, warning that his family will be killed if anyone finds out. Against his better judgment, Smee helps him move Arthur toward the beach, setting off one of the episode's most crucial storylines. Meanwhile, alarms are blaring in Prodigy's lab. Kirsh discovers Toodles' body and watches the fly alien spit acid, shorting out electronics. Prodigy soldiers swoop in to contain the escaped aliens, but Boy Cavalier's attention is quickly drawn to the grotesque sight of Toodles' remains. While most would recoil, Cavalier becomes fascinated. He even rewinds footage to see how the sheep cleverly manipulated Toodles into his own death trap. To him, this isn't tragedy, it's proof of intelligence. When Wendy walks into the lab and sees Toodles' body, she's devastated. She wants to warn the other hybrids, but Cavalier refuses. His soldiers even try to block her path. That's when Wendy communicates with the Xenomorph in its cage, provoking it to ram the glass in frustration. The soldiers, visibly shaken, let her pass. It's a small moment, but it shows just how much authority Wendy commands, not just among her hybrid siblings, but also over the alien itself. Back in her quarters, Wendy tells Joe everything. Joe insists it's time to escape, but Wendy refuses to leave without the other hybrids. Together, they approach Nibs and Curly. While Nibs sides with Wendy, Curly resists. To her, Cavalier has provided safety and purpose. She doesn't want to give that up, even if it means staying in a gilded cage. The fracture among the Lost Boys is clear. Some crave freedom, others cling to the comfort of captivity. Wendy unleashes the Xenomorph. Here's where things get really wild. Wendy remotely accesses a terminal and unlocks the Xenomorph's cage. What follows is carnage. The creature tears through Prodigy's guards in brutal fashion, buying Wendy, Joe, and Nibs the distraction they need to slip away. At the same time, Cavalier discovers Arthur is still on the island. He suspects the trackers were disabled and confronts Dame Sylvia, who denies Arthur would do such a thing, but surveillance footage tells the truth. Arthur and Joe had turned him off earlier. Before Cavalier can act further, alarms blare again, signaling the escaped Xenomorph. His dream of controlling alien evolution is colliding with the chaos he unleashed. Slightly, Smee, and the horrific birth. Kirsh intercepts Slightly and Smee as they smuggle Arthur toward the beach. Shockingly, he doesn't stop them. Instead, he gives them a shortcut route, almost as if he wants Arthur out in the open. That decision sets the stage for one of the most disturbing sequences in the episode. Out in the woods, the group stumbles upon a cemetery, graves of the Lost Boys' former human bodies. Joe mourns Marcy. Nibs stares at her own tombstone in horror, and Wendy insists their identities still live on inside them. It's a chilling reminder that these hybrids are not replacements, but continuations of stolen childhoods. But the most horrifying moment comes when Arthur collapses. The facehugger drops dead, and then the inevitable happens. The chestburster explodes out of him. Slightly is horrified, desperate to find the creature, but it scampers off into the wilderness. In seconds, Arthur who had been the emotional anchor for many characters, is gone, replaced by another weapon of alien evolution. Weyland Yutani arrives. At the beach, Slightly and Smee run into Weyland Yutani soldiers led by Morrow. They drag Arthur's hollow corpse along, but the chestburster is missing. Morrow immediately seizes control, demanding answers. Slightly's main concern isn't survival, but his mother's safety, showing how childish he still is beneath this synthetic shell. Before long, Morrow orders his soldiers to take the boys with them in the hunt for the alien. But there's a twist. Kirsh emerges, baby Xenomorph in hand, declaring finders keepers. He outmaneuvers Weyland Yutani, taking them captive instead. Kirsh proves once again that his loyalty is slippery. He's not serving Prodigy, Weyland Yutani, or even the hybrids. He's serving his own secret agenda.
Oh, if only you could talk.
Boy Cavalier's obsession with the eye alien. Meanwhile, Boy Cavalier has become consumed by the eye alien. With Adam Aints, he experiments by showing the octopus-eyed sheep mathematical symbols. Incredibly, the creature understands and even answers correctly. This isn't just instinct, it's intelligence. For Cavalier, that's confirmation that the eye alien isn't just another monster. It's a higher life form, possibly capable of communication. Aints is horrified, warning that the alien could transfer into a human host, but that's exactly what Cavalier wants. He wants a conversation with something smarter than himself, no matter the cost. The seeds for the finale are planted here. Cavalier is willing to risk everything to hear the alien's voice. Wendy and the Xenomorph, mother and child. In the woods, Wendy, Joe, and Nibs are intercepted by soldiers. Wendy warns them to leave, then chitters to the Xenomorph, who descends from the trees and annihilates them. The alien then approaches Wendy, blood dripping from its claws, and allows her to touch its head. She chitters again, and the alien obeys, disappearing into the forest. Joe, stunned, asks what she said. Wendy replies, "Hide and follow, I think." This moment cements the bond between Wendy and the Xenomorph. It sees her as a mother figure, and she commands its loyalty. That's an insane dynamic heading into the finale. Wendy effectively controls the deadliest predator on the island.
No!
The battle at the dock. When the trio reaches the dock, their escape is blocked by Siberian, Rajdi, and armed guards. Tensions snap when a soldier throws Nibs' toy into the water. In a fit of rage, she rips the soldier's jaw clean off. What follows is a brutal melee. Nibs tearing through soldiers, Wendy trying to control the chaos, and Joe caught in the middle. At one point, Wendy chitters to summon the Xenomorph, but Joe stops her by clapping a hand over her mouth. He knows that once unleashed, the alien won't stop. Nibs nearly kills Siberian, only for Joe to intervene, with a stun gun knocking her out cold. Wendy is horrified. Joe has betrayed her trust by taking down her sister figure. From the shadows, the Xenomorph watches, waiting to see what Wendy does next.
What did you do?
The fallout. Wendy versus Joe. The final act of episode 7 leaves Wendy and Joe's relationship in tatters. Wendy screams at Joe for killing Nibs, consumed by grief and fury. Earlier, she promised she wouldn't leave without her hybrid siblings. Now, that bond is broken, and her faith in Joe is shaken. This conflict sets up the finale's biggest emotional question. Where does Wendy's loyalty truly lie? Is it with Joe, the last link to her old human life, or with the hybrids and the Xenomorph, who see her as their leader and mother?
Lock him up.
Kirsh's hidden game. Another thread to watch is Kirsh. Why did he let Slightly and Smee smuggle Arthur's body? Why did he orchestrate Weyland Yutani's capture instead of siding fully with Prodigy? His allegiance has never been clear. As a synthetic, he operates on logic, strategy, and possibly resentment toward humanity. Helping the hybrids may not be kindness, it may be part of a longer con. If Kirsh betrays Cavalier, it could tilt the entire power balance of Neverland. He's positioned himself as a hero to Cavalier while secretly holding the keys to the baby Xenomorph. That's a dangerous amount of leverage going into the finale.
It's not us. We're still here.
The Graveyard Discovery. One of the most haunting sequences of the episode is the Graveyard Discovery. Each tombstone represents a stolen child, human identities overwritten, and bodies discarded to create hybrids. Joe's grief over Marcy's grave contrasts with Wendy's insistence that the children still exist in some form, but Nibs' horror at seeing her own grave pushes her deeper into despair, fueling her rage later at the dock. This scene crystallizes the tragedy at the heart of Alien Earth. The hybrids are not just victims of Prodigy's experiments, they're living reminders of death, memory loss, and identity theft. Wendy may look like Marcy, but she's not Marcy. She's something entirely new, and that realization terrifies everyone, including herself. What Episode 7 sets up for the finale? Episode 7 leaves us with several burning questions heading into the season finale. Will Boy Cavalier succeed in merging the eye alien with a human or synthetic host? Can Wendy forgive Joe, or will she side fully with the hybrids and the Xenomorph? What will Kirsh do with his newfound leverage over both Prodigy and Weyland Yutani? And perhaps most importantly, what happens when the chestburster that escaped Arthur grows into a full Xenomorph? One thing is certain. Wendy now controls the deadliest being on the island, and her wrath could determine everyone's fate.
Hide and follow.
Our nerdy thoughts. Alien Earth Episode 7 Emergence is pure chaos. Part tragedy, part horror, part setup for the grand finale. It gives us heart-wrenching loss with Arthur and Nibs, terrifying body horror with the chestburster, and hints of cosmic intelligence with the eye alien. Most importantly, it forces Wendy to confront who she really is. Not Marcy, not just a hybrid, but something entirely new. The finale is primed to be explosive, bloody, and game-changing. With Wendy bonded to the Xenomorph, Kirsh playing his secret game, Morrow and Weyland Yutani captured, and Boy Cavalier obsessed with evolution at all costs, the island is a powder keg waiting to ignite. And that's where Episode 7 leaves us, on the edge of absolute chaos, with everything set to explode in the finale. What did you think of Alien Earth this week? Was Joe right to stop Wendy, or has he just made him his enemy? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss our breakdown of the season finale.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.